allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll observe a moment of silence. Thank you. Announcements, awards, and special recognition, we have none. Public comment.
We have one speaker signed up, Ms. Stephanie Roman.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. I'm Stephanie Roman from the Braylon Village community. I'd like to thank you for serving our city and for considering the Feeding Wildlife Ordinance discussed on October 2nd. This ordinance was very well researched, and I'm here today to share several reasons for further consideration of its passing, particularly as it relates to solving our city's deer overpopulation problem. The main points outlined in the ordinance are supported by wildlife biologists from Georgia DNR, the Nature Conservancy, and the Southern Conservation Trust, who do not recommend feeding wildlife for several reasons. First, feeding deer creates real dangers. Deer that lose their fear of humans cause more injuries annually than bears. Feeding concentrates deer near our homes, increasing car accidents. It also spreads disease among animals like tuberculosis and chronic wasting disease. Sudden diet changes can kill deer, and even products labeled deer corn can contain toxic molds. Most importantly, artificial feeding increases deer population beyond what our environment can naturally support. Passing the Feeding Wildlife Ordinance would help solve the root cause of deer overpopulation rather than addressing the issue with unsafe and inhumane practices like bow hunting near homes and businesses. I believe most people who feed wildlife have good intentions. They want to help animals or share nature with their children. But once they realize how much harm it causes, I believe they would support this ordinance. In the October 2nd meeting, council members Johnson, Brown, and Holland all indicated they would potentially support the ordinance with revisions. They also mentioned hearing from many passionate residents like myself about this issue. However, after 10 minutes of discussion, the idea of advancing the ordinance was all but abandoned. I'd like to address some concerns that were brought up. It was stated that only one other local government in the state had a similar ordinance. This is simply not accurate. Multiple cities in Georgia, including Dunwoody, Berkeley Lake, Jefferson, and Fort Oglethorpe, have passed similar ordinances banning or restricting the feeding of wildlife. Even if Peachtree City was the first or only city to have a ban, why wouldn't we want to lead on an issue like environmental health and the public safety of our residents? As for any concerns of overreach, in a city that regulates the length of our grass and the color of our houses, an ordinance with measurable positive benefits for community safety seems reasonable. Yes, enforcement presents challenges, but pairing code enforcement with a community education campaign would help to mitigate this issue. A powerful combination of education and a ban on wildlife feeding would be the most humane and effective solution to addressing deer overpopulation in our city. As residents and elected leaders of Peachtree City, we are stewards of this land and obligated to not only protect its people, but also its wildlife. The evidence supporting this ordinance is overwhelming, and that's why I urge you to pass the Feeding Wildlife Ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda changes, council? Nope. Nope. All right, minutes. September 18th, 2025, council meeting minutes. B, October 2nd, 2025, work session minutes. C, October 2nd, 2025, executive session minutes. Can I get a motion?
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that we pass the minutes of item A, B, and C as written.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Consent agenda items A through G. Can I get a motion?
Madam Mayor, I move that we approve consent agenda items A through G with an effective date of April 1st for item G.
April 1st, 2026.
Item A.
Item A.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was told G. Yeah, you're right. Okay, with an effective date of April 1st, 2026 for item A.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Justin, do you want to expand a little bit on the new decals that are coming?
Sure.
So after the discussions at our previous meetings, we did, staff, not myself, Dustin over here, decided to talk with the company and get some prototypes. So this is what they look like. I don't know which camera I'm on. That one? But this is what they would look like, this one. I showed them to you all before the meeting. So here's what the current decals look like. So the numbers themselves are actually the same size as the current decals. We have just basically eliminated the wasted space up here. And the reason is just to make it easier for people on the front and back to find places to put these decals. And it saves us on cost too, as far as just printing and the space that we're using to print and that stuff. So I think there will still be probably some older carts that on the back may struggle to find a place that will actually stick. But I did, Laura, I believe you or Councilwoman Johnson, you also mentioned too that you had looked on Amazon. I looked on Amazon and some other websites about, plastic, things you can bolt onto carts and cars, and you can buy them for $10, $15. So the hope is that even if somebody has to modify their cart to make these work, which some have had to do on their sides as well, with the side ones, that it hopefully will not be too much of a financial burden on them. And again, as I stated in the last meeting, the 3 big golf cart dealers that I spoke with are willing to also help people figure out how to put these on their carts if they need assistance as well. So I think that we're going to do a public communications campaign to make sure people know that this is coming. We're going to, as stated in the ordinance, we're going to push back renewals to where people have until April 1st to do this. We're hoping to get these sent out in January, and people have until April 1st to make the change to the front and back. And we're going to push out a lot of public information on that as well, and help people answer questions and all that stuff. So there will probably most likely be some growing pains with it, but we are going to move forward with it.
All right. Council, any questions?
Just one. Have we figured out of any ideas from the staff or from anyone that would understand how to get the old stickers off our carts? Has that been looked at yet? Other than just scraping them off?
Right.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah. I've kind of tried to start peeling the corner of mine off to say they're on there.
Yeah.
But I also think, for your current carts, if you need to leave them on your sides, I don't think we're going to make a big deal out of that. If people just leave them, we just want the ones on the front and back. If you got the ones on the sides for your current cart and they're just on there, enforcement's not going to be looking at those. They're going to be looking at the front and back ones.
I know that you may be able to use a product, I'm not pushing any product here, but the product that I've used for taking those off is called Goo Gone. I don't know if anyone else has used that. Goo Gone. That would be a suggestion anyways to try.
Or buy another sticker of something that you like and put it on
there you
top
go.
of it.
Yep.
All right. Thank you very much. New agenda item A, 102505, 2025 maintenance and operation millage rate. Kelly Bush.
Good afternoon, evening, Mayor, Council. State law requires that we advertise the notice of current tax digest and 5-year history of levy prior to adopting the millage rate. We've done that. We didn't have to do the additional ads this year because we are proposing a full rollback. So that would be a 0.139 mil rollback from 5.983 to 5.844. And you just have to adopt read the recommendation to adopt the millage rate at 5.844, and then there's some forms for you to sign that we have to turn into the state.
Okay. Can I get a motion?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we adopt the maintenance and operation millage rate at 5.844 mils. It's
Second.
go ahead.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any last comments from council?
No, I was going to read the item number, that's all.
I think we're good.
I have one question to ask Kelly, if that would be okay. In the column that gives you under Peachtree City this is the 5-year sheet, and if you look at where it says net tax dollar increase or decrease, it's like the second to the last item from the bottom in the first section. I noticed that it went up significantly in years 22, 23, and 24. It went up well over $1 million to almost $3 million. And then you've got pegged out this year in 25 of only 209,000. Is that going to be a new way forward for the amount of net tax and increases?
It could, I mean, for this year, all of the homesteaded property assessed values were frozen, so this is just new growth.
Okay.
Going forward, you have the ability to increase up to 3% or CPI, whichever
Correct.
is lower. So it
So we
could
may
be a
see
little
it.
more than 200,000.
Right, because we are going to have an increase in assessment.
Correct.
We're not getting that frozen, only we're getting just the actual amount of tax paid next year.
But
Okay.
the amount that your property's value can grow for
Correct.
assessments is limited or capped to
Agree.
3%.
I totally get it.
So it should be much lower going forward.
Thank you for that.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. New agenda item B, 102506, fiscal year 2026 budget amendment memorial bench.
You want me to do it? I thought you were going to do it.
Good evening. So staff received a sponsorship from Class 101, which is the Elevation Group 5.0 Inc., for our fall festival, and 2 remaining family football Saturdays in the amount of $5,000. So the attached budget amendment accepts the $5,000 in sponsorship and budgets for the expense in the recreation non-support programs. And I'm just looking for you guys to approve the budget amendment.
I believe that budget amendment was passed in the consent agenda.
Yep.
Oh, this is the bench.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry about that. We must have miscommunicated.
Yes, this is the bench for Kathy
Yeah, this is for Kathy.
Lime Tree Nature Park.
Yes.
It was not in the consent agenda.
It is not.
No, I thought so.
It's in your packet.
Correct.
In the amount of,
You want me to-
5,000?
So
no.
this is a donation from John and Margarita Kerr for Memorial Bench, Play and Love Every Day, Cherish Every Moment, Kathy Wilder, Forever Loved, to be placed at Line Creek Nature Area. The donation is in the amount of $2,070.77. And the attached budget amendment accepts the donation and budgets the expense to purchase and place the bench.
Thank you. Can I
Yes,
get a
very,
motion?
very sorry about that, guys.
That's
That
all right.
was
No worries.
That's
No
all
worries,
right.
Dustin.
Can I get a motion to approve?
Madam
Can I-
Mayor, I will make a motion. It's an honor for me to make the motion for Kathy Wilder's bench. It would be for item 102506, a 2026 budget amendment for the Kathy Wilder Memorial Bench in the amount of $2,070.77.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Public hearing A, 102508, variance request from rear setback 207 Clydesdale Road. We'll start with a staff presentation.
Protocol.
Thank you.
When the public hearing is open, members of council will become hearers. No action on their part is in order until the mayor declares the hearing complete. First, city staff will present the request and provide an assessment of compliance with city code. The mayor will then allow up to 10 minutes for speakers on each side of the issue to present evidence. No individual member of the public will be given more than 5 minutes to speak. Time limits may only be extended by a majority vote of council and will be divided equally between those supporting and those opposing the issue. The mayor will then recognize the applicant and those supporting the issue to present evidence. Remarks will be limited to a total of 10 minutes. The mayor will then recognize those opposing the issue to present evidence for up to 10 minutes. Prior to closing the public hearing, city staff and the public will be given the opportunity to ask questions of either or both sides of the issue. When the mayor and council are assured that the presentation of evidence is complete, the public hearing shall be ended, and council may debate the issue and render a decision. All speakers from the public are asked to follow these rules. 1, please wait to be recognized by the mayor. 2, come to the microphone and state your name and neighborhood prior to making remarks. 3, keep individual remarks under 5 minutes and do not repeat comments. And 4, address all comments to the mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll start with staff presentation.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. The item before you is a variance request for 207 Clydesdale. As you're seeing here on the zoning map, the parcels are zoned residential primarily, and then there's land that is for our greenbelt areas. So you're seeing that in the OSC areas there. So there is a rear yard setback reduction from 30 feet to 15 feet for this request. The applicant has provided a narration inside of their application, and that should be included in your report. So here you're seeing photos of the site itself. So what's in the setback will be a sliver of the deck above, as well as the entire staircasing. Because of that encroachment, they would need to come before you to have that request approved. The staircasing, according to reports in our system, was provided through a permit in 2018. The applicant is currently in hand or present now to receive a permit, and so in order to receive that permit, they must have all non-compliance cleared. So that's the purpose of today's action, is to have for the variance to be provided to move a permit forward. Here you're seeing that particular setback in red, where the portion of the deck as well as the staircasing is within that required restriction there. And that is the variance criteria that we will be looking at today for the decision making. Thank you for your time.
Is the applicant here, and would the applicant wish to speak?
Yes.
Please take the podium. Thank you.
So it was discovered, we were wanting to build a pool, and you see it's on the side. It's not in the area that you see that's within the setback. That was done in the 80s by my mother and father-in-law, in fact, and they're passed. My wife and I bought the house in 16. In 18, I redid the deck. I didn't change the footprint of the deck. It was just obviously rotten wood. We just replaced all the wood. It was a permitted job. You see there that the pool is not in the setback, in the proposed setback. So we started in January, and J&M Pools came for a permit in May, and here we are.
Thank you. You can have a seat.
Okay.
At this time, I'll open the public hearing. Do we have anyone present tonight who wishes to speak in favor?
I told him not to come.
Seeing none, do we have anyone present tonight who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I'll hereby close the public hearing. Council?
I guess I'll start. I have a couple of questions. Okay, you just said that you actually bought the house in 2016. It looked to me like on the tax records you actually bought it in 2012. Do you know when you actually purchased the house?
My mother-in-law passed in 2016. My wife was on the deed, or on the as a right of survivorship, so we took over the house in 2016. She was put on that in 2012.
And your wife's name is Michelle
Yes.
Lynn?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so in 2018, when you got the permit to replace the rotting deck boards, did you add the stairs to the deck?
No, they were existing. I mean, I tore them out and put them back.
Okay, the drawing, obviously, the drawing that was submitted in 2018 was crude at best, and it was
Yes.
completely wrong in terms of the measurements. Did you not think at that point in time that it was important to get a survey to do that?
No, it wasn't requested, and until it was requested during this permit process for the pool, to get a plat survey and all of that. Again, I was replacing the lumber to an existing approved deck. So no one asked me to do that. I was surprised, excuse me, to have been stopped in the process to begin with. So then I came up to City Hall and they said, yes, you have to have a permit. So I got a permit. But I wasn't changing what was existing,
Okay.
the footprint that was existing. If I would have been asked to do this way back when, I'd have been happy about it because we wouldn't be doing this today.
Hold on, I'm reading through my notes here, so.
And I'm trying to find that drawing on our packet.
It's not in our packets.
Ah, okay.
It's only on
Yes,
the
it is.
screen.
This
Oh,
drawing is.
This drawing
what
that's up there?
What page number is
Take,
this in our packet?
take a look here behind you, Suzanne. But that's not in our packet.
We have a similar one has the green.
There's
It's
one.
probably
Right,
the-
but we
that's
don't
probably the
have this
closest,
one.
but we
Okay,
don't have
Cool
that
it's
in it.
turned,
exact one.
it's in the packet, but it's turned the other, well,
What page number are you on? Top one.
it's
Page
like-
86.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question for clarification?
It's not on 86.
The drawn
Wait,
line
the one
is
that
not on
has the
page
green.
86,
Scroll down.
but the
Thank you.
image is on page 86.
The next one. There, that's it, but it's turned.
I understand the orientation,
Okay.
thank you. Can I ask a question? The question I have is, the pool that you wish to put in is not encroaching in any setbacks, is that true?
That's correct.
Yes.
And so the reason we're here is because now we've discovered that previously built and replaced deck and stairs that have been there for a very long time are 15 feet into.
Well, the steps are 15 feet. I was told to include the steps. The corner of which is to the left of the way I'm facing right now, is the third bay garage that they added to the house in the 80s. Third bay garage, deck, stairs obviously, and a den, a Florida room, den, and a storage room. Those are all within the red line that you see right there. The garage corner is at 24 feet-ish, and the far corner on the right, below the den and everything, is 27 feet. If you include the stairs, it's 15. So my request was for 15 because I was told to include the stairs.
And so we're being asked to approve a variance for something that's been there since, what was the original?
82 to 85 during that project.
And that
yes.
includes the part of the deck, all the stairs, and what's this?
Well, that's the below part of the den that's upstairs.
That's house.
Yes, it's the
That's
house.
house.
The only other solution would be to burn it down, but I
Yeah,
don't want to do that.
that's not what we want you to do,
Is,
definitely.
is it part of the house or is it more like a storage shed? Because it looks like it has a garage door on the outside of it.
That below is a storage shed.
Yeah.
Above it, sitting on it, is the
Right.
den, and
We say storage, but it's not a shed, it's a storage
it's
underneath
storage
part
is
of
where
the house.
our lawnmower goes. Yes.
Well, we're
Well,
not,
if you look at the slides, you can see that there's a door there.
I see,
Sorry.
that's okay, I see it. We're not here to ask the man to saw his house in half. We're not here to ask the man to burn down his house. These items that are non-compliant have been there since the 80s. It was rebuilt, the deck and the stairs existing were rebuilt in 2018 with new wood, and you had a permit. That's where we are.
Can I ask a question? In 2018, when the job was done, did the city sign off on it at all? We don't have a record of that, so I was just curious if you had a final inspection on that job.
I have a receipt from when I got the permit.
Okay,
Do you need it?
no, that's okay. We have your application for it, so we see that, but usually the city would come back and
And look
inspect
at it.
that, and, if there was an issue,
Yeah.
then hopefully they would have caught it back in 2018. But you're saying that this deck, as far as the size of the deck and the stairs were that same shape and extending that distance into the setback in the 80s? That's correct, okay.
I have no problem with this.
Yeah, I was thinking, this one was a little tricky because I was thinking that the stairs were added later, or it looked with the permit for the 2018, it didn't show the steps extending, so we couldn't see that. It looked like they were possibly supposed to go
Yeah.
straight down. It was very hard to decipher.
Well, at the time, I just drew out a measurement on a notebook paper, measuring the upstairs and all that. I didn't get it. I was just doing it with my brother-in-law.
Well, for the record, when you drew your little square on that, you actually put the house in the front setback, which is just as much of a problem, but it's obviously not in the front setback.
Well, okay. Point well taken.
Well, I mean,
Very
it
well
was a crude drawing. We'll agree with that.
Yeah.
So.
But again, where we are now is the man wants to put in a pool, and as part of the routine process and obtaining a permit and going through our rules and regulations, it's discovered that this back 40, a portion of the deck house and the full scope of the stairs is non-compliant, so we're here for that variance.
I'd like to ask you one other question, though. And it's kind of like in a kind of roundabout thing, but under normal circumstances like this, obviously, we have the ability to not approve it, which would be like a horrendous, okay, now you have to chop your house in half, et cetera, and take some of it away. So that, to me, is not really a legitimate option for us. The other half is, we look at it and it's like, okay, so we approve the whole thing the way it sits. There's kind of a split in the middle, but it's not really necessarily like something that's completely obvious. But I'd like to ask you if you'd be willing to change the configuration of the stairs so that they would run fully straight all the way down the back of the garage there. It comes down to that platform, and then it makes a 90-degree turn toward the backyard. And that's what puts it so far into the setback area, which is where we get into our issues. If the bottom half of the stairs were turned in the other direction, it could significantly affect how many feet we have to approve for the setback.
If I did that, if you look at the picture on the top left, the power to the house is right there. So if it required work and I came down the side of the house, I would be blocking that. And the pool company tells me that the power required, they may be doing additional work there as well. Plus, I think it would look like yuck. It's been a really nice addition. If you just said I got 15 by 5 for just my stairs, I'm not going to build back there. There's no room. There's a path that runs by my house. I don't even want to do this. I just have to do this in order to get my pool, in order to do anything to my house. I understand that if I wanted to do anything to my house, I would have to get this variance. And that would include kitchen remodel. This house was built in the 70s, so.
Mr. Patrick, we understand that.
Yeah.
And trust me, we sitting here end up seeing cases like this that come in front of us that were built before we had building ordinances in place, and things have changed a lot since then. It just doesn't necessarily make our desire to approve 15-foot variances into a rear setback any easier. It does kind of ring true with us that there is no house immediately behind your house, and so it does not impact, whereas in other cases we see that as an issue. So believe me, we've seen quite a few cases that have come to us with, well, this was built before there was an ordinance, or before we had, and I'm sure Shayla will sit there nodding her head, before we had mandatory inspections of the foundation when it first goes in, And so we've actually had a lot of houses themselves where the house, the main initial part of the house, is built into the setback or the side setback or somewhere. And, you know, short of telling somebody, rip the house down or move it, you know, it's, you know, we have to deal with it, so.
I think one thing of note is the neighbor says, so excited for the pool addition, looking forward to it.
I'm sure they're probably gonna try to
Yes,
swim
we
in it.
all are.
I think also that variances, we have a variance process because some people are out of options. There are times when we come across an issue that cannot otherwise reasonably be resolved, so. Any other
And the sad
questions?
reality of the whole situation is, as you kind of alluded to, you can't get a permit to do anything else, including putting a new roof on, until this is resolved.
Yeah, yeah.
So, here we are.
So here we are. You ready?
I have a question for staff, if
Go
I may.
ahead.
Of course.
Do you, in 2018, when the permit was given out, do you have any records of that permit other than the papers? Was there any photographs taken? Was there any drawings done? Did anyone go out to look at this from, I know, Shayla, that you're relatively new here, but do you see anything in the files other than what's being told to us now?
So we have documentation of the request, and we have documentation of a drawing that he's referencing that was attached to the application. That's it. We do not have photos. We do not have that information on record.
And it was hand-drawn.
It was hand-drawn.
Right, right.
as mentioned.
I've seen all of that. Okay, next question is, have we had any other photos since that time that you could reference? Whether that's from 2018 all the way up to 2025?
The photos that you have before you today are the
That's all you
photos that
have.
we have since 2018.
And just in satellite imagery, you know, from,
Yeah, but satellite would be from current day. You wouldn't have anything from 2018.
no, we do.
You do?
We-
You had a 2018 satellite?
Yeah, we
Can
look- we
you,
looked
can
at it.
you, can we take a look at that?
Ooh. Let me go back to my email.
Yeah, I don't think we can project that on the screen. It's on
Hold on.
our GIS system.
Well, you sent me some pictures. Yeah.
I can forward the email to council.
Or put it in the U drive for them to.
Okay. Okay. I'll do that.
And what will we see, Dave, Justin, Shayla? What will we see?
I believe the stairs are there in 2018. From what I.
Well, we're talking to the man who rebuilt them, who replaced existing.
What you'll see is that it was existing.
Yeah.
If you're looking for the 2018 shot that I think Mr. Holland is looking for.
Right, it's
Oh, here we go.
just a simple request.
Yeah.
Oh, I see it coming up.
This is 2002,
That would be proof.
but 2002 is blurry.
It's like,
The clearest one I have is 2010. If you wanna, of the old one.
And there doesn't look like there's any stairs at all.
No, it does. You see them right there?
Oh, yeah. That's a 2010.
2010.
So this was built before you actually got involved in 2012 with your wife.
They're right there too.
You can see them in the 2004
Yeah, you
one.
see them in the 2004 one.
Okay. I just needed to see and confirm that.
That it
I
was
hope you don't
existing,
mind.
yeah.
All right. Council, any other questions?
yeah, that makes it actually fit closer to what we refer to as an administrative variance for something that was done by a prior owner.
Yes.
Even though it violates the distance that we would do as an administrative
Correct.
variance. It just.
Puts it in a different
It does put it in a
category.
very different category for us.
All right, can I get a motion, please?
Madam Mayor, I don't have the thing in front of me, hold on a second. Let me open it up. I make a motion that we approve agenda item 10-25-08 variance request from rear setback for 207 Clydesdale Road in the amount of 15 feet into the 30-foot rear setback.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you. One
Mr. Patrick,
question.
thank you very much for bearing with us as we went through this, because there
No,
were
I-
still a lot of questions that we had,
Thank you.
so appreciate
No,
that.
Thank you very much. One question. I'll go to J&M in the morning. Is this like immediate, or is there a waiting period for the approval of this? Because they're going to come back and start the permit process for the pool over. Is it immediate that this is approved and we
Yeah.
can go?
Yes, sir, it's immediate, and you'll receive a letter as well.
All
just
right, thank
dictating
you.
it, just to
The
keep
only
on
thing I
file.
would say, Mr. Patrick, is make sure that pool stays within the setbacks.
Yes.
Make sure that they maybe do a little survey to make sure they stay in it. You don't need to come in back in front of us after it's
Next,
done.
next item.
Man,
Okay.
I've been waiting since January to see y'all.
Thank you.
All righty.
Next agenda item, B, 102509, variance request from rear setback, 101 Bay Point. Shayla Reed.
Thank you again. This is a variance request for a property at 101 Bay Street. As you're seeing here, the property is zoned R1, very similar to as what you've seen. There is the green belt that surrounds it primarily with other similar zonings. So the request is a rear yard setback reduction from 30 to 27 to allow for an enclosed porch. There was a stop work order issued for this site due to active construction without a permit. The application includes justification and narration, a narrative on how the request was to move forward. There are no recommendations for conditions during this particular request. I would like to point out that there is a corner of portion of the site that you're seeing. Sorry, I'm kind of far away from the screen, but there's 3 feet, I believe, that is into the 30-foot setback. And so they're asking to reduce it to allow for the corner of that enclosed porch to be present. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Is the applicant here, and would you wish to speak?
Well, the whole reason for the porch is diseased trees were taken down both by us and our neighbor, and our backyard bakes. And we are just trying to get a little more shade that is no longer there. As far as not having a permit, me and the gentleman who was building the permit, I specifically told him that I believe there's someone in my neighborhood that works for code enforcement. So they drive by, and I'm like, make sure you get all of the permits. And he said he would get the ones that were required, and I went about my life trying to, we replaced all the windows, doors. We've tried to make the house more energy efficient, but the backyard is just, in the summertime, unbearable. We also live in a bit of a bowl where all of our neighbors' houses drain into our yard and then around our house. So there's not a lot of flat area, or, I'd love to build a deck, but the yard just isn't applicable for much more than what we've got there. And I did bring some extra pictures of the yard itself to show the terrace, and because I know on that flat, one-dimensional view, it looks like the yard is a certain size, but the usable portion is much smaller.
Thank you. With that, go ahead and have a seat for now. With that, I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in favor?
Edward Geiger. Thank you for your time. John, you forgot to mention that the slab's been there since the 70s.
Doesn't matter.
So, I'm a neighbor, and I'm all for the 3 feet waiver. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in favor? Seeing none, is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I hereby close the public hearing. Counsel?
I just have a question, just because you were mentioning that you've had other work done to the house. Were there any other permits that were pulled for any of your other work?
We had the, I believe there was one for the siding, and we had the roof reshingled, which permit, the last time we had the house reshingled in '06, that wasn't required. So I'm kind of new to this whole process.
Okay, and so you have a builder who said he would pull the required permits, but he didn't know that, because there was nothing existing there before except the slab, all of this
Except for
build.
the slab, correct.
Is that right?
Yeah, the slab is, as far as I know, the slab is original to the house, and I believe the house was built in 1982.
Okay. You can go ahead.
So the request, to be clear, the request is to cover the existing patio slab that's been there since the early 80s.
Yes, ma'am.
And now, lo and behold, we discover probably the slab as well is maybe 3 feet into the setback.
Yeah, we're not going any further past the slab, just
Just want to cover it.
cover it.
I see.
because
Thank you.
it's-
Suzanne?
Okay,
Can I ask a quick question?
Go ahead,
Suzanne,
jump in
before
while I'm
you
reading through my
go
notes.
ahead and talk. This is this is a 10% change in the setbacks. Don't we have an ordinance that this should have been a
Nope.
administrative variance, or is
Nope.
there something that I missed?
you missed it.
Shayla? Does this fall within the administrative
it.
variance instead of a full council variance?
It does not. It's requiring a full council variance.
This is one that does require it?
Yes,
Even
sir.
though we have a 10%?
No,
No, we don't?
no, we changed it, Clint.
Oh,
Well, it
sorry.
used to be 50, now it's,
No, that would be for, there's, the only administrative variances right now are for pre-existing. And would
Okay.
be only if it's 2 feet into a setback.
All right, what were your
Okay,
questions?
let's
Did you
go
have a
ahead and move
question?
on. I thought it was a 10%. Sorry.
No, no, in fact, we fought for that one. In the narrative that our city staff did, it says that you're citing a hardship resulting from the shape of the lot and the existing location of the home. Yeah, just, kind of for the record here, the lot is shaped almost like a perfect square, and I don't know if you realize how lucky you are, because there are so many households in this city who have pie wedge-shaped lots that have far more issues than a lot that's almost square. The problem that you have is that the house is not set square on the lot.
Exactly.
And I
And it's set
understand that.
back.
Right. And unfortunately, as I look at this, and this is kind of what I alluded to before with the other gentleman's house, where when he drew it on a rough drawing, he made it look like it was into the front setback, but it wasn't. It was drawn wrong. But on here, this survey plot shows that your house is set back further than it needed to be set back. So I do understand what your plight is, that in order to build, see, the slab does not have a problem going into the rear setback because it's not a structure. It's just a slab.
Right.
Same thing, there are things like issues with pools and things that are below ground that don't run into the same kind of a problem. It's the construction above ground that becomes the issue. So in this particular case, number one, you started building the porch without the permit. And for anybody who happens to be watching who's contemplating doing this, unless you can totally trust your construction person, it's better for you to go and get your own permit so that you know you have the permit. And that,
Yeah, I have now been.
schooled on that one.
I owe Christmas cards to the people, several people in the permit department at the moment.
So, but the issue is, when I look at a variance such as the one that you need, my question that I always ask myself is there someplace else on this property that you can put the structure or modify it to make it compliant with the ordinances that are in place and not build it into the setback? And there are 2 or 3 options that I look at with regard to, you could move the structure further toward the east, and may not be something you want to do, but I'm saying it can be done. You would have to increase the slab on the one side. It would not necessarily impact the door that is in place there. Or you could just make the structure sitting on top of the slab smaller so that it doesn't go into the setback area. So there are two options available for you that would not require a setback.
Right.
Or, excuse me, a variance.
Moving it, and I, like I said, I've got pictures. Moving it to the east will reduce our very little flat, usable area.
Can we
for
see
in the
those
yard.
pictures, Jasmine?
Sure.
Is it all right? Well, just stay where you are. Thank you very much.
Just a point of clarification for the council. I was correct, it is 10%. It's item in 1204 ordinance, section 1B does say it's a 10% of the setback.
And those
I know we looked at 2 feet and 3 feet, but we ended up with 10%. So, and you were at 10%, 3 feet out of 30-foot setback.
Are these photos showing me like rolling topo in the backyard?
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Unfortunately, printer and phone don't make it perfect, but those are taken from the corners of the patio to show. And the other issues are on the patio, there's an electrical outlet that's like 2 feet, so moving it, we would end up, and then there, on the other side, there is a faucet, which would then have.
There's a what? A faucet?
A faucet. So I would prefer not to tear into the house again, because we did have to repair, which is why we have the new sliding glass door. We had to repair a good bit of termite damage.
Ooh.
So it's still standing, and I'm very happy about that now.
All right.
So I'd hate to go in and tear it out again, to move all that electrical and
All right.
plumbing.
Thank you. Can we talk about this a minute? I just want to have one conversation. Is it an whether it's an administrative variance or not, here we are now.
Yeah, it is now here.
Well, that's true, but no, I don't believe it's an administrative variance.
I don't think so. Don't think so either.
All right.
Okay, good.
What we have is an existing slab that's been there for decades. Man wants, his trees are gone now and it's beastly hot out there. And between the topo and the location of the new sliding glass doors, he would like to cover the existing patio slab.
I read the rest of the sentence.
All right, did you hear what I said?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, all right. Any other comments? What else do we need to know?
I'm reading through my notes to see if I had any other questions.
Well, I think that Councilwoman Brown made a really good point, and one that I didn't consider earlier, so I appreciate it. It's just the fact that your house could be put forward more, and it's put back. And also, if you were to turn it just a little bit, if it wasn't angled, then this would be
Yes, this would.
clearly out of that setback, and it is at 10%. So with those things in mind, I would be inclined to approve this. I feel like the positioning of the house and the fact that it is set further back, that this is something we could approve. I could approve.
We have letters of approval from 100 Palomino Path, 102 Palomino Path, and 103 Bay Point. Questions? Comments, questions?
The pain is real.
The pain is real.
Yep.
I think we want our neighbors to be able to improve their homes and increase their property values. But
Well,
your points are absolutely well taken.
I think the point is, we also want our neighbors to apply for the permits beforehand, and not
Yes.
that I'm
Yes.
smacking you around anymore
A little
for that,
spanking for you.
But I mean, what the concern is from council at a time like this is, when you have somebody who starts construction without the permit and then gets a stop work order, and then if we come back after it with no penalty, no whatever, and approve it all, it kind of conveys to other citizens in our city, well, you don't have to ask for permission, just go ahead and do it. And if you get caught, ask for forgiveness. And that doesn't sit well with me in general. And that's why I'm having a problem with this.
I can say that the additional things that I've had to step through, because one of the things is we did not know that we needed a professional plat done, and that those guys don't come out for nothing. I mean, this whole process has been, unfortunately, a learning situation, and I thought at my age I knew better, but there's still room to learn.
Yeah, and I think for me, the fact that you've had other projects going on with this house and you've applied for those permits, and I mean, what Councilwoman Brown said is very true, because we've done it, we've sat here and made people undo things that they didn't get permits for. So, point well made.
I have one more comment, Madam
Sure,
Mayor.
of course.
I'll always state this, so please don't take umbrage to it. I don't like variances. Never have since I've been on council. But there comes a time where you have to say, yes, this is something that this poor homeowner is trying to improve his property, or his or her property, make it better for Peachtree City, bring it up to good standards, and we're only talking 3 feet. So, in my mind, this is one where I have to say a yes and not a no. But typically, just so it's on the record, I'm normally don't like to give variances out, but in this one, I'm going to say yes.
All right, any other comments? Can I get a motion?
You want me to
Madam
make it?
Mayor, I move that we approve, what is this, public hearing B 102509 variance request from rear setback for 101 Bay Point for the amount of 3 feet.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
C, 102510, variance request from building setbacks and landscape buffer requirement, 1501 Georgian Park. Shade.
Thank you, Mayor. The item before you is a request for a variance. There's actually 4 total. As you're seeing here on the property sits adjacent to Kedron Shopping Plaza. You'll see here where the red dot is being shown, the site basically abuts the commercial component there. And it's surrounded by, on the other side, it's going to be a residential community. So this particular site has had some challenges with design of the site, mainly because of topography. From the Georgian Park component, you'll see that the land is a little bit sloped, where it elevates from the top down backwards, where it's allowing for the piece that touches the commercial component, it's flatter there. So it sits on a hill. So the request where you're seeing the retaining wall is to retain that soil, to allow for the soil to stay in stay in place. You'll see that the red line shown on the site plan here is the building setback, and then you'll see the retaining wall shown in blue. So the applicant is asking to have a retaining wall to maintain the soil that's being moved, as well as to allow for there to be stabilization of the site once constructed. So here you'll see the setback request. The front yard setback is being requested from 40 feet to 26 feet and 1 inch. Side yard from 10 feet to 5 feet 8 inches. Rear yard 20 feet to 6 feet 2 inches. And again, it's to allow for that retaining wall placement, as well as parking spaces and a playground area that you're seeing that has a very small space there as well. And I neglected to mention that this is a daycare facility as the use. So that's for the setback request. There are two criteria you'll see today. This is for the zoning ordinance component. The next request will be your landscape buffer requirement. You'll see in the red shaded area, the applicant is asking to reduce from 25 feet, according to the application, from 25 feet to 17 feet and 1 inch to disturb the buffer for constructing the retaining wall. The retaining wall will be within the setback if granted, but the landscape buffer will be replanted. As you're seeing there, it's calling a temporary disturbance. So they're asking the temporary allow for the trees to be removed, but placing them back. I will defer to the applicant to speak a little further on that particular piece for the replacement component. But for that, your criteria also outlines for the land development ordinance, it gives a different criteria that speaks very heavily on topography that has been mentioned in the application. Thank you, Mayor. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Is the applicant here? Oh, there you are. I was looking around.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Chris Gunn. I'm with the applicant. We are proposing a 12,000 square foot daycare facility with just under 10,000 square foot playground. Typically, Georgia daycare licensing requires us to have a 16,000 square foot playground, but we worked with them to reduce the size of the playground to that 10,000 square feet to get to reduce our footprint as much as possible and also reduce our impact. The wall that we're asking for the variance along the playground, that's anywhere from 0, obviously, up to 16 feet. And then the one along Georgian Park is anywhere from 0 to 13 feet. One thing that I was going over with Shayla before the meeting and also the city engineer, what's on the application is for the landscape buffer disturbance. That's only during construction. We do have a landscape plan that's under review right now. The concept plan's already been approved. So we've been pretty transparent about what we're doing with this project. And along that line, I do want to discuss that I think we should actually have, instead of having 17 feet, it should be 12 feet. And talking with the city engineer, we think that's practical because of the way the wall is going to be constructed. There's going to be an excavation, there could be backfill, there could be rock there could be roots. And if we're very prescriptive on we can't disturb the rest of that landscape buffer, we could very immediately be in violation of that when we see the field conditions. So I'm asking for an additional 5 feet on that landscape buffer, and we are committed to replanting that. Our plan does have shrubs and trees in there, and we'll work with the city engineer and staff to put the right type of shrubs and bushes in there to, one, put that screening back in, and two, also make sure that we're not impacting the character of the neighborhood or impacting the stability of that wall.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in favor?
Yes, my name is Robert Vassy. I'm the one that owns the property. I've owned it since 2009. When I built my dental office at 1601, I bought that piece of property in anticipation of building a similar office for a medical office building. We have spent over $30,000 doing site plans, elevations, and no one has come along that wanted to build anything that like what we had planned. We finally have someone who's got a plan now for something that I think would be very helpful to the community. There's residences all around. This is a very nice daycare facility, and I think it would add to the community. So I would encourage the council to look at it favorably.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in favor? Seeing none, is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I hereby close the public hearing. Council?
Madam Mayor, may I go first
Sure.
this time? Shayla,
Yes, sir.
was this all reviewed by Planning
That's
Commission?
correct. With Planning Commission?
Yeah.
No. This variances do not go before the Planning Commission.
I understand that, but the whole site plan and all of the things from parking and traffic and location and all of that was all reviewed by Planning?
So the concept plan, yes, was reviewed by the Planning Commission, but not the
Excellent.
variance.
Right, I understand, not the variance, but I always wanted to make sure that, including all the parking spots and the number of spots and all
Yes,
that
sir.
kind of stuff.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
that's good. That was just something, I hadn't read the Planning Commission's report on this, but thank you very much for that. As far as first of all, I'm in favor of businesses here. I came from the business world, so I'm definitely in favor of this project. I just want to make sure that we don't disturb the actual indigenous growth there as little as we possibly can, particularly along the Georgian Parkway site. Inside, obviously, it backs up to, I think, the backside of Target, if I remember correctly. And so I think that's all okay. It's just the portion that's going to be sitting on close to Georgian Parkway. Having that nice barrier there is really important to us. Comments?
Understood, and that's why I wanted to be very clear about the potential additional 5 feet, and if we can amend the application or approve it at this meeting. I just wanted to be completely transparent about that, given the sensitivity. I drove it today, and that whole corridor, you're right. I mean, it's beautiful and it's protected, and that's why when I got to meet with Shayla today, reviewing her presentation, wanted to bring that to your attention.
And you will replant whatever is taken down, because you're going to obviously have to get in there with heavy equipment and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
So it's all going to be replanted.
Yep.
Is that gone before the Planning Commission yet, or is that not going to be going in
That
front of
doesn't
them?
go before the planning commission.
It will not go in front.
Excuse me,
Okay.
we're in for permit review right now.
We're going through the permit review. They have had an opportunity to go through the landscaping process. But no,
okay,
I'm not,
good.
right, I thought, okay, you're asking about this item is what I'm focusing on, I'm sorry. But
That's
yes,
okay.
the variance itself is, yes, here, but they've seen the landscaping plan.
Okay. I have no more questions, Madam Mayor.
All right, any council comments?
I'll jump in here, and for the sake of not leaving anything out, I'm gonna read this. When I visited the property, I was shocked at the slope of the earth from the east to the west. The drop off really is a full 30 feet. I went into the parking lot of the business to the west of it and looked up the hill and said, oh my God, how are they gonna do this? So just to clarify that part. It's no wonder no one has built anything on this lot yet. So I actually applaud you that you're willing to take on the added expense of bringing in enough cubic yards of dirt to make this property usable for any type of construction.
Thank you.
This particular location does desperately need, and when I say location, I don't mean that particular spot, I mean that section of the city does desperately need daycare facilities. Most facilities that we have here in Peachtree City have waiting lists, and I'm sure if you have a good business plan, you've already checked that out, and you know there's more than enough demand here. But sadly, your construction process will likely result in the removal of every tree on this lot. And if they aren't removed, the construction equipment would likely damage the roots beyond a survival point anyway. So I'm glad to hear that you plan to restore a proper landscape buffer, something that we will entrust to our planning commissioners to examine closely and make sure that appropriate requirements and suggestions are made. And I think that having a prospective commercial developer willing to take on this massive project is an incentive for me to vote to approve it.
Thank you.
So,
Can I make one more point?
Yes.
Because the importance of the buffer. The area on that abuts our entrance there, we're also going to maintain the trees on that area, even though we're not required to, because it's a requirement along Georgian Parkway. It's not a requirement along that road, as I understand it. But we're committing to also preserving those trees as well.
So as you come off Georgian Parkway, you make if you're heading east, I should say, you make a left-hand turn, and you're talking about that corner right there?
Yeah, it's highlighted it's not highlighted, it's outlined in red.
Yep, I see it.
On the southeast corner of the site.
Good.
All right. Any other questions or comments?
No.
Ms. Johnson?
No, I mean, I agree with everything that's been said. I think the topography of this lot definitely makes it where there's a hardship that's involved. I have a sister who moved here a few years ago and was looking for daycare and was met with wait lists after wait list of every place that she inquired to. So the need is real. Yeah, so I would be in support of this.
All right. With that, council, can I get a motion to approve with one change? What was presented originally as a 25-foot reduced to 17-foot 1-inch landscape buffer will now be a 12-foot landscape buffer.
Madam
So-
Mayor, I'll make that motion. I would motion that we
about-
approve.
How about so moved?
That's all you need to say, Clint.
I know.
Seriously.
I just like going through it sometimes.
Yeah.
So moved.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Council staff topics, we have the Magnolia Arts Festival this weekend, Saturday and Sunday at Drake Field. And tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, we will do groundbreaking at Mead Fields for new pickleball courts. Anybody else?
I have one thing. Based on our new ordinance, or a new requirement, or a new process of placing items on the agenda, I want to tell my fellow council members that I intend to reopen the discussion for some adjustments to the pilot hunting program. Where's Chris? He's looking down. I want to go and discuss a few ideas with Chris, because I've been monitoring some of the social media, and seeing some of the comments and suggestions that some of the hunters are making. And so I'd like to go and talk to Chris about it, but I need to mention it at this meeting so that I can put something together by the time the agenda packet has to get put together. And if I miss that deadline, I'll have to wait until the following meeting, I guess. But I'm just letting everybody know that I want to kind of revisit making a few minor modifications to the pilot program.
Sounds good. Anything else? Councilmember
I
Johnson?
don't have anything.
Nope.
Believe it or not, I have nothing.
All right, do we have executive
We
session?
do not.
I will
Oh
take
my
a motion to adjourn, please.
So
So
moved.
moved.
I need a second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second.